Hi guys! So welcome to a new lesson of Learn Italian with Elena. In this lesson I want to teach you the prepositions in Italian. We have two kinds of prepositions in Italian. First of all, prepositions in Italian is preposizioni, and we have two kinds: preposizioni semplici, simple prepositions, and preposizioni articolate, like complex prepositions. You will see that it's very simple actually to get from the simple preposition the complex prepositions. Why I want to teach you now the prepositions? Because you will need them for two reasons. One, in the spoken language, we use them very often, as you can imagine, so you really do need them in order to be able to speak fluently. And also for another reason, because at this stage I needed to teach you the prepositions in order then to be able to explain you, to explain you the conjugation of some verbs. So how you can use also verbs. Let's get started. Preposition di, which means of in English. A, which can mean to, da, in English can be from, in, in also can have the same meaning in English, in, con, with, su, su can mean above, or can mean also on. Di, a, da, in, con, su, per means for, and tra or fra, fra. Tra and fra have the same meaning, and they can be translated in English either with between or among. Okay, well, because in Italian we don't get the difference between or among, meaning that if we want to use a preposition making a difference between two things or more than two things, in any case more than two things, then we still use the same preposition. I mean, in English, if we have to discriminate between two things, then you use between. If you have to discriminate among more than two things, then you use among, right? In this case, in Italian, we still use the same preposition, and you can choose either fra or tra. So here I gave you like a basic translation of the preposition from Italian into English. But according to the context, this can change. The translation can change. For example, da, from. But we use da also with the meaning of since. Like if you say, I live here since 2015, you say in Italian, vivo qui dal 2015. Dal is a preposizione articolata. In a minute we are going to see it. In any case, the point here is that we use since. And in English, in Italian is da. If you say I live here for 3 years, you see that in English you use for, but in Italian you still use da. Io vivo qua da 3 anni. So either you say I live here since 2015, you use dal, which is still the same preposition da, or you say I live here for 3 years, then you don't have to use per, but you still use da. Vivo qui da 3 anni. The point is, guys, that you have to be careful with these translations, with these raw translations that I wrote you here. In another lesson, I will explain you exactly the difference between the use of the prepositions in Italian and English, so that you can avoid making mistakes of like mistakes of automatic translations from English into Italian. Okay, this is something which refers also to pragmatic. I mean, to the become independent, to know the language, because you know the details of the language, you know how we think the language. Okay. Okay. Now, but now let's pass to the to preposizioni articolate. Otherwise, we will waste time in something that you are not enough prepared. Anyway, we create the preposizioni articolate by using le preposizioni semplici, so all these prepositions di, a, da, in, con, su, per, tra, fra, and adding the articles according to the gender and the number of the word which you want to introduce by the preposizione articolata. Do you remember the exercise about the articles? Would you lend me some twine? Mi presteresti dello spago? Dello is di plus lo, uguale dello. Why? You may wonder why it is not dillo. Because maybe because dillo is a kind of verb in Italian. So the reason may be really complex, but you have just to remember that it's not dillo, but it's dello. Then, if you put di plus la, becomes della. If you use di plus gli, the plural of lo, then it becomes degli. If you need to express, to introduce a word which is female and plural, so with the articles you would use le, then it's delle. If you use di plus il, it's not dil, but it's del. So you may imagine that dello, we use dello with the same exceptions with which we use lo and li. So I remember you, I remind you, with words starting with sp, sk, sh, ny, z, and with plural male words starting with vowels, like amici, innamorati. For example, dello spago, dello scienziato, dello gnomo, dello zio. Plural, degli spaghi, degli scienziati, degli amici, degli zii, degli gnomi. Okay? And we use del with the same words with which we use il. So with all the other words starting with all the other consonant or vowels or consonant. So for example, del pane, del which means bread, some bread, del tavolo, del tavolo here means of the table. It's of it has the meaning of belonging, not of a part of something. Del cane also here means not some dog, but it means del cane, meaning that something belongs to the dog.